Are we truly free? With everything that's happening at the moment with the coronavirus, there's a lot of talk going around about freedom. What does it mean to be free? Because suddenly all of the freedoms that are promised in our democratic constitutions in our different countries are slowly being limited. So at first it started with public gatherings were cancelled, religious services were cancelled. Now here in Berlin at the time of recording, we are down to not being able to meet with more than one other person in public. Or even in the privacy of our own homes, we're not allowed to have 3, 4, 5 people come over for dinner or for a party or anything like this. We're only supposed to travel out and travel around on essential journeys. We're not supposed to just go out for fun or whatever. And so a lot of these things that we take for granted in everyday life because they're protected by the Constitution are slowly being whittled away. And it gives rise to the interesting question, what does it mean to truly be free? Now, is our freedom an illusion? Some might argue that at the moment we're being shown that the freedom that we normally think we have is actually an illusion, because the government at any moment, for good reason I might add, can say we are going to cancel or restrict these freedoms drastically for the sake of everyone, for the sake of the population. So are you and I truly free to just do whatever we want? Well, no. And we never have been truly free if we think about it. I'm not free to go out and kill people. I'm not free to go out and steal. I'm not free to go out and do a whole bunch of things. I can't just take a car and start driving it if it doesn't belong to me, or if I don't have the necessary insurance. So there are quite a lot of restrictions imposed on what we would traditionally call freedom in our everyday life. And these restrictions are actually good. I don't want to go and kill people. But if I did want to do that, it's great that that is a restriction that is imposed on me, that I can't just go out and kill people. Restrictions with car insurances are imposed on me so that I don't hurt people by driving cars or motorbikes that are maybe too powerful for me or that I haven't done a test on. So this restriction is good. And also it's good if we want it to be restricted. I don't want to go out and steal things from supermarkets or from stores. And so therefore, it's easy for me to allow this restriction on my freedom. But what happens when these restrictions that are implied or imposed on my freedom are not restrictions that I want? How do we react? And it brings us to the question, well, what does it really mean to truly be free? Because you and I, as we just established, we're not 100% free, are we? We're not 100% free to do just whatever we want. And that is usually how we define freedom. So what is freedom? Well, biblical freedom is not being free because you are able to make a choice. Biblical freedom is when you are free because you make the right choice. You choose not to be enslaved by things that are going to harm you. So let me give you an example. Biblical freedom is not the choice to eat one way or another. The biblical freedom is to choose a correct way to eat, which is healthy for you and which is good. And we can apply this also, of course, to not just to everyday things like eating and drinking, but also to our spiritual lives. And because in our spiritual lives, in our mental lives, we're also not completely free. We have to make the right decision to make sure that we become free. And how do we do that? By choosing who we're going to serve. Because as Bob Dylan once put it, you got to serve somebody. That's the reality that we're in. And that's a reality we see in everyday life. You and I, we're choosing to serve someone. We are under different governments. I'm choosing to serve the government of Germany by obeying the rules. Maybe you're choosing to serve the government in France or in America or in England or somewhere else. You're making a good decision. You're choosing to do what is right, not choosing to do what is wrong, and you're free in that choice. And the Bible tells us we also have a choice to make when it comes to our spiritual freedom. And the choice is, are we going to serve God or are we going to serve evil? And if we choose to serve God, God promises to love us, to look after us, to make us safe, and He wants us to serve Him because that's how He created us. That is exactly what is best for us, Just like, for the most part, it's best for children to listen to their parents because their parents love them and they want to tell them good things so that the children do good things and are safe. But then evil comes along and evil says to us, don't listen to God. God is a party pooper. He spoils everything that you want to do. He's hiding the good things from you. Come and serve evil. Come and serve yourself. Come and serve your own selfishness. That's what you really want to do. And that was ultimately the first lie that our ancestors believed. When they believed that to serve evil was going to do better for them than to serve God. And what happened? As a result, the whole world broke. The reason why we're in this situation in the first place is because of this, of making the wrong choice. We enslaved ourselves as humanity, as a human race, because we made the wrong choice. We didn't have freedom because we could choose. We enslaved ourselves and we didn't choose freedom by choosing to serve God. We chose to serve evil. But thankfully, God has provided a way out. 2,000 years ago, when Yeshua came to this earth, he died to set us free. And he himself says, if the Son sets you free, then you are truly free. And he has set us free. And if we choose to put our faith in him, if we choose to serve him, indirectly we choose to serve God, then we become free. Why? Because we serve the good master. We serve a correct master. And we're not self-serving, we're not serving evil, we're not destroying this world. So in this time of coronavirus, when we're thinking about freedom, we're thinking about civil liberties, we're thinking about how we don't like the fact that our freedoms are being restricted, let's also think about something much deeper than that, than just freedom of movement, freedom of assembly, even freedom of speech. What about freedom of who to choose to serve? Because you have to serve somebody, whether you realize it or not. If you are not serving God, you are ultimately serving yourself and serving evil, and that is just going to end up in completely ruining our lives if we make that decision. So make the decision, serve God. He's the loving master. He's exactly the one we want. He's our loving Father. Why would we not serve him? Because we've been blinded, because we believed the lies. And look where it's got us. It's got us to this situation that we're in. So let's put our hope in God and let's be free in him. Free not because we can make a choice, but free because we make the right choice. What choice will you make?